Brittany Cufaude.
Hey, sister.
Is it okay if I call you B?
Yes.
Awesome.
Who is Brittany Cufaude?
I'm a mom, sister, daughter, granddaughter, cousin, teacher, survivor, healer, social justice seeker.
What was your first word?
Hot, which also was my son's first word.
What's one thing people don't know about you?
There's not a lot.
Was there a specific event in your life that changed you as a person?
Yes. The day you were born, the day Oliver was born, my divorce, and I would say the day that I met my current therapist who I've been working with for years. Yeah.
Where did you see yourself at 12 in comparison to where you are now?
I don't know that I was like a very vision-oriented 12-year-old. I think I was really into blacklight posters at the time. I think I probably thought I would be an artist.
Favorite family memory?
Definitely all our trips together.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Definitely be kinder on the inside.
Anything you wish you could redo in your life?
Nope.
What would you want to be remembered for?
Someone who always cared and who always was there to help.
What is something that always pulls you out of a funk?
Music, you.
What is the biggest lesson you've learned?
For better or for worse, I always see the best in people.
What keeps you going?
It's Oliver, for sure.
3 things you can't live without.
Oliver, my family, including you, of course. Kind of like coffee, I think.
What is your best habit?
Never giving up.
What is the best advice you have ever received?
I watched Amy. It's on Amy Winehouse. At the end, she was collaborating with Tony Bennett. I interview him. He's the last person who speaks in that documentary, and they say, if you could say one thing to Amy, what would it be? He said, life is really hard, kiddo, but it gets easier the more you hang in there and just live it. And I think that's so true.
And goals for 2021.
Help teachers learn how to take care of yourself first so that we can be better in every area of our lives.
So, B, early bird or night owl?
Both, but that's only because as I've gotten older, it's harder. I love to indulge and stay up late, but most of the time I have to go to bed early because I have to wake up to do work, take care of Oliver, and so on.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite quote?
Okay, Walter Benjamin. The history of the oppressed teaches us that the state of emergency in which we are in is not the exception, but the rule.
What are the 5 songs to describe your life?
Susan Vega song, probably. Tom's Diner. Definitely like some song off Standing by the Sea by The Cure. Then as I got older, an Alice in Chains song, which is crazy, or Nirvana, like Smells Like Teen Spirit, I would definitely say. And then as I got older than that, like let's say college, something Elliott Smith. Oh my gosh, we're going past 5 here soon. I would say a song that I really like recently would be a Khalid song, probably, maybe Better.
Diamonds or pearls?
Diamonds every time.
What's your favorite board game?
Anyone that I can win every time. I particularly like Cranium.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Sparkling Rosé.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Social justice would be my superpower.
If you could raid one woman's closet right now, who would it be?
Yours.
Favorite place to visit?
Tahoe.
Do pineapples belong on pizza?
Absolutely. My favorite pizza is jalapenos, garlic, and pineapple.
What person, living or dead, would you like to have dinner with?
Okay, living dinner. Recently I watched Pretend It's a City and just was cut up laughing. It was Martin Scorsese interviews Fran Lebowitz, and she seems like a riot. I would love to have dinner with her, no question. I would like to have several dinners with her. She's quite a party girl, apparently.
What's one vice you wish you could give up?
I don't have that many vices. I mean, maybe sparkling rosé would be the one. I have a tendency to sometimes date boys that aren't the best for me.
Do you like surprises?
Love, but no one has ever actually effectively surprised me. They've tried, and I've figured it out every time.
Introvert or extrovert?
Raging extrovert.
Favorite scent?
Oh, whatever that scent is in really high-end spas.
Would you rather never be able to drink water again or only be able to drink
water again?
The only thing that I drink other than water is coffee. So, like, I'd rather only be able to drink water again.
Would you rather be able to speak and understand every human language or communicate with animals?
I'm going to go with speak every human language because, like, I think animals are communicating with us in a non-language type way. So, yeah.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Henry's Tacos.
Who is your spirit animal?
Horses.
Favorite place to eat in California?
I don't know. I'll go with Crew in Sacramento.
Oh,
Represent.
nice. Who is an icon you're dying to meet?
Fran Lebowitz. I'm going to go back to her. I, like, want to hang out with her. She makes me want to, like, I don't smoke cigarettes. She makes me, like, want to be a New Yorker and smoke cigarettes and stuff. And, like, hobnob with, like, the New York elite. I don't know. She was really inspiring.
What is something you do every day, no matter what?
Walk my dog.
Do you exercise?
Yes. Sometimes more rigorously than others.
Favorite movie?
Oh, I saw The Sound of Metal the other day. It's like a favorite right now. Let's just put it that way.
If you could spend 24 hours with anybody, who would it be?
My friend Donovan, he died when I was 20 and he was only 25 or 26. So definitely would love to, like, tear it up again with him for 24 hours. Yeah.
If you ruled the world and could make one law, what would it be?
Do no harm.
What advice would you give for humanity?
Do no harm.
What's a cause that is important to you?
Most causes that involve protecting children, like a harm reduction services for humans, and to pair them with rescue animals, people who were recently incarcerated, come to work and kind of rehab in society. So I'm really into harm reduction in general also.
What is something about change that excites you most?
I think the thing that makes me most excited about change is how many people have to work collectively and creatively to effectuate really positive change. So it's that kind of collaboration and that kind of joining together of human courageousness and spirit and all of those things.
What is one attribute you would like to be known for?
Kindness.
What are your aspirations in life?
I want to make the world a safer place for everybody. And I happened to become a teacher, so I really worry about classrooms because that's where all our children are all day. So I want to make them really joyful, super encouraging, effective spaces that children are just really happy to go to. And I believe that begins with supporting teachers because teachers do the hardest work that there is. I always call teachers first responders. And so are administrators. Like, I don't forget about administrators. And so I really work to support that community because to make those spaces the kind that I envision, it's going to take a lot more love and support and nurturing of educators.
What brings the biggest smile to your face?
Oliver.
Aww. What is one thing you wish you could tell your 18-year-old self?
Hang in there. Definitely, like, it gets better, but it also gets way worse. And then it gets better again.
What are 3 words to describe the Sacramento area?
Oh my gosh. Home, unpretentious. So I'm cheating, but like flat river space.
What was high school like for you?
All the cool, like, kids and seniors and stuff sat at the stage. I don't know if you remember that. So, like, I entered in that world as, like, a popular girl, and then I transformed into, like, a radical, like, feminist and, like, stopped shaving my legs, and everybody was totally weirded out by me. And then I kind of, like, turned around and kind of became more of who I am now, which is like an amalgamation of all those things. So I guess I was like pushing extremes, but I certainly hung out a lot in the art room. I would say that would be if you were going to find Brittany in high school, I was in the art department.
How do you take care of your mental health during a pandemic?
Like, Netflix definitely saved my life. So did the Real Housewives franchise. A great, safe, loving community protects your brain from pretty much anything.
But I'm bringing everyone
to my favorite place in the whole wide world.
So why teaching?
I think that in the end, I didn't have a very positive experience in school. And so I think in some ways I chose teaching to go back and do some healing, but also to be the teacher I wish I had had as a little one.
What is something the education field needs more of right now?
So I would say understanding, compassion, more resources and support. And I think we need more community service and volunteers in general. We need more people who aren't teachers in classrooms, helping teachers, helping librarians, etc.
What are 2 tips you would give to a teacher just beginning their career?
Oh my gosh, immediately you need to find a healthy team and a community. You cannot do this alone, and depending on where you are, chances are really high that you're going to be all on your own after your induction program supports go away. So you need to find your community. It takes a long time to be an expert, and so be really kind to yourself. I didn't feel like I was in the swing of things until I was in my 10th year of teaching. That's when I finally felt like I was in my rhythm.
What did you struggle with most at the beginning of your teaching journey?
I was given way more responsibilities than I knew what to do with, and I was ashamed because I thought everything would just come naturally to me.
Has there been a student that left a lasting impression on you?
Yes, hundreds of them. Riviana, I'll give a shout out to. She's doing amazing work in New York, and she works with Cyndi Lauper now to support, homeless LGBT youth. She's left a huge impression on me. Carrie was one of my first students. She left a huge impression just in terms of the sort of resilience of the human spirit, and that kindness can grow where no other kindness is. My student Trey, who went from a kindergarten reader to a 6th grade reader in a year, he's a hero and just superhuman.
What has being a teacher taught you about yourself?
That I certainly like to be the expert in the room, and not something I've had to work on and dismantle. That's not healthy in the classroom. It certainly taught me that I have kind of endless compassion.
What is your proudest professional moment?
I would definitely have to say the year that I spent teaching reading intervention to a 6-8 crowd, and they were K3 readers, and on average we went from being on average K3 readers to being 4-8 readers. That was a sort of a triumph of many different things occurred to happen. So that was huge.
And why joyful classrooms?
I think one of the things that happens is that teachers come into the profession, because it's a calling, and that joy it's one of those things that just immediately gets sucked out of the room. Once you get started and you're just the deluge of emails and tasks and, administrators, it's the same thing. We're asked, literally it feels like in your day you're asked to do 90 things that bring you no joy whatsoever. And sometimes it's hard to even understand why you're doing it or how it's connecting to doing what's best for students. And so I established Joyful Classrooms to make the practice really simple. And it took me, I think, 15 years to gather the things that will help protect the joy, maintain the joy, and also some of us get lost in our practice, so to restore the joy. We as educators deserve to be joyful in what we do, and we also owe it to our students to show them the joy of learning.
What has been the hardest part about experiencing COVID-19 as an entrepreneur?
I work in education, and so where school closure happened, my business just was shuttered and just sort of obliterated, as it were, because I'm a presenter, I work with teachers, I work in classrooms, and where classrooms are not up and running, Joyful Classrooms was not up and running. So that was a huge challenge, and so I really had to pivot and learn how can I continue to do the work that I do, reach as many teachers, if not more, given that everything about what I did previously was destroyed. But, as I said, I'm a survivor, I never give up, and I figured it out. So here we are.
And how do you manage your busy schedule?
Apps, being mindful about being busy. So a lot of the ways that I help with being busy is saying no and actually choosing to not be as busy. Working hard, so long as it's healthy, is something I'm never going to be opposed to. I find myself much happier when I am balancing tons of hard work with
purpose and knowing exactly how I'm having an impact.
And what's the hardest part of entrepreneurship that you've had to adapt to?
Vulnerability. So you're sort of in this balance of like trying things, failing, going back to your heart, saying, okay, I think that this is going to work. Here's a little bit of my heart. What do you think? But there's a ton of vulnerability involved, and that's really tough.
And what are your goals for your business in the next 5 years?
I would love to go international. I was in Morocco a few years ago, and I got to see some rural schools as I was hiking, doing like a backpacking type thing through the Atlas Mountains, and I saw what schools look like. And I would love to work internationally as a volunteer to support both getting girls to school and young women to school, but also to spread best practices, services, resources into communities and schools where that doesn't exist at the moment.
What's the biggest lesson you want to teach?
Certainly compassion inwards and outwards. I think teachers are really hard on themselves. I hear lots about, oh my gosh, this isn't working, or this is failing, or that was a failed lesson, or I'm terrible at this, or I don't know how much longer I can do this. And you can do it forever. Teaching is one of the most amazing careers that are available to human beings. To be able to touch so many lives and so many children who so desperately need us, it's an incredible profession. But I want everybody to know that in order to stay joyful and energized, you're going to have to be kinder to yourself, and also we need to be kinder to kiddos.
And when would you like to retire?
Never.
So Saba from Texas asked, why do I feel so tired teaching virtually?
My strong opinion about being on your computer all day is, even for introverts and extroverts, we are energized by other human beings, and we cannot benefit from the energy of connection through a screen. Get outside, walk around. Nature is energizing. Screens drain us. They just do.
How can people connect with you and Joyful Classrooms?
Well, Joyful Classrooms is definitely a movement. Become a Joyer. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, all the things, Facebook. You should definitely join the Joyers Facebook support group. That's daily, constant contact with me. And then, or you can become a Joyful Classrooms member and join a coaching cohort with me. You can join a mastermind group. Read my book, Lessons in Joy. Also join the Joyers Basic course. You can find lots of ways to connect with me at www.joyfulclassrooms.com.
And